Just welcome everyone. Doing something rabbis didn't have to do 100 years ago. Attach their headset. Okay, I'm not going to use that joke again. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please turn to your neighbor and wish your neighbor a Shabbat Shalom. And then so your other neighbor doesn't feel left out on the other side, please wish them a Shabbat Shalom. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. We're going to continue with Maya Fe Hayom. We're going to start with Maya Fe Hayom on page 10, a song of welcoming. How lovely today is, Shabbat Shalom, page 10.
Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
We begin on page 9. Top of the page, we're going to read responsively, page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that could never be exhausted. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. I'd like to call up Emily, Hattie, and Sophie to give us our candle blessing tonight. It's a real treat. Hello, ladies. And we're going to be on page 2. Pre-lit and everything for you. If you want to use this, this is here too. Okay.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you. Yeshua. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat comes in like a bride. We turn to page 20 for L'cha Dodi, top of the page, and when we get to the very end, we'll rise and turn around to welcome the Sabbath bride, page 20.
L'cha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. L'cha Dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela.
pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, Ishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh maksheva tehila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
We rise and face the sanctuary.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
Please join us.
Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
May be seated.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
We turn on page 26 to the Chatzi Kaddish. For those of you who are familiar with the responses, please join us, page 26. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayedecho bet Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'meru amen. Yeheshme Rabba mevorach, le'alam yomehomaya. Yitbarak, yitbarak, v'yishtabak, v'yipar, v'yitroman, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yithaleh, v'yithalal. Shemeda Kudesha Brechu, Leila Mincho Berchata V'Shirata, Tushbechata V'Nechemata, Damiran Bialma, V'Meru Amen. Page 27, let's read together, middle of the page. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. We rise as the ark is opened for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship, on page 28.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam
Watch your step, folks. Got it? Okay, beautiful. Thank you. You may be seated. We turn to page 31. Top of the page, we'll read together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. We turn to the top of page 32, the singing of Ahavat Olam, everlasting love.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu, uvkumenu nasiat behukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orek yameinu, uvahem negei omam v'layla, negei omam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael.
A gateway to the Shema, we read on page 33, middle of the page responsively. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Then this holiness of your works and the living language that gives it form together. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. On page 34, if you are able, we rise for the treasured words of the Shema. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. We continue on the top of page 36 with the V'ahavta together. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom halevavecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Bishivtecha bevetecha uvlektecha vaderech Ushochbecha uvchumecha Ugshatam liot al yadecha V'hayu letotafot beinenecha Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uvisharecha Leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem gedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 37, let's read together in the English. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Page 39. Let's read together at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40, we join together, Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha Ayam lifne Moshe u'Miriam ze'eli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
Page 43. Let's read together, top of the page, beautiful passage. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, Hapureis Suchat Shalom, Aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Turn to page 44, middle of the page, Yismechu.
Yismechu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat, v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshi shvi Shabbat, kulam yisba'u ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, בקוראי עונג שבת.
As a people, we're interwoven together. Like the Havdalah candle, we all come together as one. And throughout our history, we're all roots and branches of the tree of life, spreading across the ages. And that's what tefillah is all about on page 46. That's what the Amidah is all about. It's about our ancestry, our patriarchs, our matriarchs, and it's a wonderful time to think about the people that came before you. Not only your family, but the people who were founders of this temple and our beautiful sanctuary. It's all there together. Our families, the founders, the people in our community. We think about that. As we rise, if we're able, the ark is open, page 46 for the Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. 48. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Lifnei V'nechem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer, U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, Yitzrat Sarah, page 50. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav Le'Yoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalchel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekaye Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Mehelach, melech memid u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'emanata lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Page 52. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom hallelujah selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You may shut the ark, please. Thank you. And our congregation can be seated. We turn to page 53. Top of the page, we'll read together. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how in this place we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Page 55. Middle of the page, we'll read responsively. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Together, Baruch atah Adonai mechadesh haShabbat. And a traditional prayer of peace before our silent prayer on page 61. Let's read the top of the page together as one. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace. Give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. And may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise to you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo, Yisrael, v'shalom. Friends, we'll take a couple of moments of silent prayer, a time for your thoughts, and then we'll convene together again on page 60 with the singing of Shalom Rav. Page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. אתה מלך אדון לכל השלום, כי אתה מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We move from a prayer of peace to prayers of healing. It's so important in our community to wish for healing for those who are in need of healing, but also for their caregivers. We'll turn to page 253. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill in our community and who are in need of healing, including Chelsea Tipton, Bishop Emeritus Curtis Guillory, William Spector, Natalie Fetch, Lawson Helms, Eleanor Crum, Don Berger, Joel Berger, Charmaine Berry, Robin Goebel, Orva Lee Husband, Mark Fertitta, Mike Mayfield, Rabbi Daniel Alter, Ann Barth, Chad Tupper, Bailey Hayes, Addie Armstrong, and members of the Melbourne Synagogue who were injured in the arson attack of some days back. We're also going to go around the sanctuary. If you know anyone who'd like to say his or her name who's in need of healing, please do so now. Anybody else in front? We continue together as a community with the singing of Misha Berach, middle of page 253.
Before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Makor bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
May the Blessed One, holy be he, be filled with compassion for all of their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say together, Amen. In this week's Parsha, Vayishlach, which means "and he sent," we encounter a momentous and transformative chapter in the life of one of those patriarchs that we just mentioned in the Amidah, Jacob. The Parsha begins with his return to the land of Canaan after many years of living in exile, and it takes us through his preparation for a dramatic encounter with his brother Esau, whom he had previously deceived. Hollywood could not write a better script than this story this week. It's got it all: intrigue, love, everything. The story begins at a moment of deep uncertainty in Jacob's life. Years earlier, he had stolen Esau's blessing, and he's now terrified that Esau, his older brother, will exact revenge. Jacob is caught between the past mistakes he's made and his uncertain future. He's at a crossroads. He feels vulnerable. He feels afraid. It's in this moment of fear and vulnerability that Jacob is alone, truly alone, and an angel appears and begins to wrestle with him. The first thing we notice is that Jacob is not passive. He just doesn't accept it. He actively fights back. In fact, he fights all night. When the angel touches his hip, he dislocates it. Jacob is in excruciating pain, but he refuses to let go. "I will not let you go unless you bless me," he declares. He could have said, "This is too much. I've had it. I yield. I can't do this. I'm too weak." But instead, he chooses to hold on. Even though he's injured quite grievously, his persistence is remarkable. As the struggle intensifies, the angel asks Jacob, "What is your name?" Jacob says, "Jacob," which means deceiver or supplanter. It's the name that defines his past, for good or bad. But the angel responds with something radical. "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but it will be Israel, for you have struggled with God and with humans, and you have prevailed." I found a vivid description of Jacob's struggle in an old book in the rabbi's office here. It was uncredited. I'm not going to credit it as my own, but I found it very striking, and I really wanted to read it to you. Jacob stood alone in the dark, feeling the weight of every decision, every struggle he'd ever faced. A figure appeared from the shadows, not quite human, not quite divine. They locked eyes, and the fight began. Not just of bodies, but a fight of wills, a fight of identities, pasts and futures. "Who are you?" Jacob demanded, breath ragged. "Who are you?" the figure retorted, twisting him to the ground. In the struggle, Jacob felt himself breaking open. His fears, his pride, his shame, all spills out. But when the light broke through the night, something in him shifted. He let go of the fight. The figure paused. "You are no longer just Jacob. You are Israel, one who has wrestled with God and has prevailed." As the dawn broke, Jacob walked away, his limp a reminder forever of this battle, but also of the victory he'd found in surrender, which I thought was very important. This is a pivotal moment, not just because Jacob's name changes, but because Jacob's identity changes. The old Jacob lived by a bit of deception, fear, self-reliance, is replaced by a new Jacob, whose identity is now rooted in the struggle and in God's presence. Israel means he struggles with God, or God prevails. How apropos for modern times. This moment is incredibly relatable for all of us, at least it is for me, and I'm sure for many of you. How many times, friends, have we been in a place where we felt like we've hit a standstill, we've hit a wall? We wrestle with doubts, with fears, with guilt. We sometimes wonder if God is even there. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. Little joke. But like Jacob, the key is to keep holding on, even when it feels like everything is falling apart, coming apart at the seams. Wrestling with God is not about winning, my friends, but about being honest with God and staying engaged with him. Even in our pain, it's about refusing to walk away when the going gets tough. Sometimes the blessing isn't in the resolution of the struggle. It's in the perseverance, how you deal with the struggle. Elie Wiesel once said that man's struggle with God is not a struggle against God, but a struggle for understanding, for meaning, for purpose. He said it's our attempt as Jews and as citizens of the world to reconcile the pain and confusion of life with divine presence and justice. During his all-night struggle with the angel, Jacob encounters a deeper truth about himself. He's not defined by his past. They're not going to hold the old Jacob back. He's defined by his relationship with God. And we may not walk away always from our struggles unscathed. We all know that's true. In fact, sometimes the very things that challenge us, our pain, our fear, our doubts, become the marks that define us. But these marks are not a sign of defeat, my friends. No way. They can be viewed as a sign of God's presence and the transformation in our lives. In our own lives, we're all wrestling with something. Maybe it's something at work, a relationship, personal failure, a season of doubt, second of doubt, or the search for purpose. The message of this week's Parsha and Jacob's encounter with this angel is clear. Don't give up. Keep holding on. Keep wrestling. Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to call up Cynthia for our announcements. No wrestling on the way up there, Cynthia.
Thank you, Rabbi. Some days I feel like I've wrestled a lot,
Yeah.
and I carry the pain of it too.
Yeah.
So I can't give up. My mother used to say, can't, never, could do anything, and therefore I make certain that I try until I can do something. And I'm sure that it's like that in everyone's life. Edgar Allan Guest wrote a poem. Maybe you had to learn it when you were younger, but it's something like this. Somebody said it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied, and now I've forgotten the words just when I wanted to give them, I'm sorry. But the long and the short of it is that it's a poem of encouragement, and I've read it many times in my life. I want to thank our pulpit guests tonight, Dan Neal and Maggie Harris. I also want to thank the musicians in the balcony, along with the techs in the balcony. I appreciate all four of you, and I'm glad it's not as cold up there as it was last week. I was worried about Michael Hendricks, but I'm glad he's okay. He doesn't have to wear his hat tonight, so that's a good thing. The flowers and the yahrzeit donations were made by Regina Rogers in loving memory of her wonderful father, Ben, dear brothers Bernard and Arvie, and special Uncle Nate, and beautiful Aunt June. And those yahrzeits have been acknowledged tonight, as well as some will be acknowledged in January. Our hostesses tonight and hostesses tonight are Caleb Fontenot, who is unable to be here tonight, but sent whatever it was that Sarah said he needed to bring, and Emily and Jeff Wheeler, and of course the girls. I want to thank Emily and Hattie and Sophie for doing the candles tonight. It always makes us feel good to see the three of you here, so please come back. I see Jacob. And I haven't seen Jacob in a long time. So if you don't know Jacob Getz, he's right there in front of me. He's a product of our Sunday school, and we always welcome him. And so glad that your dad brought you, both of you, tonight with him. Thank you. Rabbi will have Torah study tomorrow. He will also be conducting the funeral service that will be coming up on Monday for Lauren Rogers Friedman. The information was sent to you in a bereavement announcement. Please go back and read your email from today. Next week, Shabbat services will be in the hands of Sherry Horwitz and Benet Rutman, so I know you look forward to that. An announcement that's extremely important is that volunteers are needed on Christmas Day at some other place, and Rita Davis is coordinating that. If you have not yet let the office know that you plan to be a driver for Meals on Wheels or plan to be a server in the soup kitchen, please do. It's our one time a year where we provide this service at some other place, and it allows those who are there on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, to have Christmas on a special, without the responsibilities that they enjoy so much, but without the responsibilities of serving the community. Rabbi will be back in 2 weeks. He will be here for the Hanukkah celebration that we have in our sanctuary. He will be at the menorah lighting for the community. There have been happenings that have been sent. Be sure that you look to see about the times, the dates, and all of that. I'm hoping that you will all come. The temple has a booth if you would love to serve in the booth to distribute the little goodies that Sarah and I picked out this week. I would love for you to say, I'll be there to pass those out and to visit, maybe to teach a game of dreidel or whatever. Rabbi has song sheets. He'll be singing, leading songs. And it'll be a nice celebration both for our Hanukkah here in our sanctuary as well as the city menorah lighting. And this is the Shehiyanu moment for the Hanukkah menorah, the Hanukkah that the city's going to be using, because the city now has its own. And Emily and all those who are responsible, we do appreciate making that possible for us. So thank you so much. I hope I've covered all of the announcements, and Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are here as well as to those of you who are on Zoom.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. It's a lot going on, and it's a wonderful thing. We're going to conclude our service with the last prayers and begin on page 259. The ark will be open. We rise as the ark is open for the state of Israel, a prayer for the state of Israel, page 259.
Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'goalo.
We continue on page 282, middle of the page, with the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kimishbechot hadama, shelo samchelchenu chahem, V'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We remain standing. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. The reason we ask our entire congregation to rise is to support those among us whose loss is recent or more remote, and who may not have someone to rise for them. We observe the period of Shloshim, 30 days since their passing, for Lauren Rogers Friedman. We mark the yahrzeits of Isidore K. Frankel, Lawrence D. Gale, Vera Donda Hodis, Isidore Shanefield, Marianne Hodis Todd, Renee Horwitz Bennett, Louis Bruckner, Samuel Irving Goldfein, Jake Horwitz, Nathan Hyman, Dr. Nate J. Rogers, Ruth Rubin, Esther Toby Diamond, Joseph Y. Horwitz, Blanche Feinberg Levine, Louis Mayer, Anna Sampson, Julia H. Borer, Adele Schwartz Gordon, Jake Levin, Joseph G. Pearl, Ben J. Rogers, Rebecca Miller, Lena Lefkowitz, and we also remember the Israelis, including members of the IDF, who have died since the terrorist attack of October 7th, 2023, as well as the innocent people of Gaza and anyone affected by recent natural disasters. And we're also going to go around the sanctuary. If there's anyone you're remembering tonight, please say his or her name out loud. We turn together, page 294, the treasured words of the Mourner's Kaddish we'll recite together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'mechon, v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru amen, yehei shmei rabbah mavarach le'olam olmei olmaya, Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yipar v'traman v'yanaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal, shemei kudusha prichu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to all of us and to Israel, and let us say, Amen. Friends, since we have some campers in our midst today, we're going to conclude with a song they might know. It's called O Javo Shalom on page 353. And this is on the top 10 in the Jewish hits list on Spotify. So if you're up on that type of thing, enjoy. Okay, make sure we have the right page here. I believe it's 343. Let's see. You guys may turn to it for me. Yes. No, 353. 353. Okay, sorry. I was only off 10 pages. O Javo Shalom, page 353.
Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam, Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Shabbat shalom. We'll see everyone down for our blessings. Shabbat shalom.